Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 18 of Comic Relief, the live weekly talk show for all things comics, their live adaptations, and anything else that makes you want to get nerdy with it. Here on The Box, the live podcast network, bringing you the latest and greatest in comic, horror, and anime and music news. We just had a great episode last night of Jam Sessions, and we got another episode of this coming up this week. We're doing a twofer this week.
Twofer.
Yeah. So tonight we are going to be covering the Black Widow movie. Black Widow movie just came out this weekend. We're going to be giving our little review there, as well as we're going to be talking a little bit about Loki episode 5. There's been a lot going around about Loki episode 5 if you've seen it. So we don't want to drill too deep into it because by now you guys have already seen and heard it all. So we're just going to touch on. So we're going to touch on some of our favorite Easter eggs, give you a quick plot summary, and then kind of go over our theories on that. But yes, welcome to The Box. This is Comic Relief, and if you like what you see here, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to help us keep this thing going, because if you don't, then Jagger is going to kill me. Wait, what?
No, I'm going to resort to hooking.
Oh.
I thought that was the joke.
That was.
I didn't know we went. I didn't know we went straight from illegal to murder.
That's not what you said last night.
Oh.
Was that a joke?
Maybe.
Anyway, also we've started up an official Discord server. So if you like to get in touch with us off stream or just talk random theories or whatever, just join our Discord. We'll have some fun conversations. I'll probably shoot down all of them if I don't agree with it. But that's about it. No, I'll just cry in a corner. I'll
the stubborn one. You are the stubborn host.
Well, considering I am still on the Kang gang when it comes to Loki. Just saying.
I mean, we'll
get there. We'll get there. But anyway, we are your hosts. I am Xander.
And I am Jagger. And welcome to our review of Black Widow and the episode 5 of Loki recap. But first, some news. We're keeping the news nice and short this week because we have 2 topics to cover and we don't want to bore you too long. First off, Marvel Studios has officially ended the Stan Lee cameos, creator of Marvel Comics. In a recent interview with comicbook.com, Al Jean, long-tenured showrunner for The Simpsons, stated that when approaching Marvel Studios for a request to use pre-recorded audio of Stan Lee to feature as a cameo in the recent Simpsons Marvel crossover special, The Good, the Bart, and the Loki, that request was flat out denied. Al Jean explains, "We just thought, oh, we have Stan Lee audio from when he was on our show, could we cameo him in?" And they said that their policy is he doesn't cameo now that he's passed away, which is a completely understandable policy. That was their only note, and that was, of course, easily done. Believe me, I respect that these franchises have a great power beyond ours. I respect it.
Yeah, it's going to be sad to not see any more of Stan Lee. I mean, from what we've seen so far was pretty much just like the occasional like illustration or a picture of him in the background. But as far as like a full-on cameo, I mean, Endgame was the last one. Really.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad to see, but it's nice to see that they're respecting that he has passed away, and then they're not gonna like try and like digitally edit him in and all that crap, or like hire an impersonator, because then that feels like it's just disrespectful.
Absolutely.
He's immortalized
100%.
himself, and like he basically immortalized himself in the original MCU run, the Infinity Saga. The last one was Endgame, and then he was done. Yeah. And it's kind of nice that it's like we have that like open and close thing where it's like he was in every film from Iron Man 1 up until Endgame. It's a nice
and even before that, even the X-Men films and the Fantastic Four films and the old Spider-Man movies.
Yep, he's in all those.
Let's see. Moving on, we got Deadpool making his debut appearance in the most Deadpool way. alongside Korg. Everybody's favorite merc with a mouth breaks down a recent trailer to Free Guy, starring Ryan Reynolds, who also plays Deadpool, but also Taika Waititi, who plays Korg. So it's very meta in that sense, that they're both sitting on this couch and breaking down this trailer, and they're looking at themselves, but as other people. It's a wild little trailer breakdown. I thought it was hilarious, but also it marks the yeah. But and there's also a lot of kind of bashing Disney Plus on on Deadpool's end, which I really enjoyed.
Which you kind of expect from Deadpool.
Absolutely. But this also marks the first time I've seen these two together on screen since Green Lantern. But yeah. In fact, it wasn't until maybe about 2-3 years ago when I finally realized that Taika Waititi was actually in Green Lantern, because he had like that fro going on, and I didn't even connect any of it. Plus, he also had an American accent, so I was just like, wait,
Yeah. He blended himself fairly well, but like when you know, you know, and now you can't see it. Like you can't unsee it, and it makes this like Deadpool reveal that much better, because it's like Taika Waititi went from being that guy, and Ryan Reynolds went from being the guy that basically ruined Green Lantern. I mean, it wasn't his fault, but like he was the portrayal of Hal Jordan, and now they're in much better roles, doing much better things in the MCU. So it was good to see. Aside from that, WandaVision stuns audiences by receiving a whopping 23 Emmy nominations, including Outstanding Limited or Anthology Series, Best Actor/Actress, Main Title Design, Casting, Special Effects, and a lot more.
That's insane. I mean,
That's insane, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm not surprised either. It was definitely like on Avengers level when it came to like special effects and whatnot.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things I remember was one of the behind the scenes footage of the Halloween episode. Like how that whole entire shot when they're like outside and the kids are trick-or-treating and stuff like that.
Yep.
That was in front of a green screen.
Yep.
I had no
It's
fucking
in front of their giant. It was in front of their giant green screen like studio that they have.
Yeah. I'm like, they like showed like a breakdown of it all. I'm like, no fucking way. I thought they shot that outside in the fucking daytime.
Nope.
God, that's fucking wild.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's
good
nuts.
on that. Good on that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Good for them for that one.
Last bit of news here that we wanted to share. Suicide Squad producer Peter Safran states that the opening of the movie is basically Saving Private Ryan. Safran explains that, quote, it's supposed to take place on Corto Maltese. We shot there for the first 10 days of shooting, where it was Saving Private Ryan at night on this beach, explosions and helicopters, the whole thing.
Private Ryan is Harley Quinn? Is that their deal?
That would make, I mean, is that how they're gonna go about it? Because they mentioned this like a beach and explosion and helicopters. I'm thinking there's gonna be some other kind of maybe like a flashback scene or something like that, explaining Bloodshot, maybe, or I don't know.
Is that would make sense.
Is his name Bloodshot?
Yeah.
Bloodsport.
Yes, Bloodsport. Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah, but no, I'm excited to see that because Saving Private Ryan was actually one of my favorite movies for the longest time. So
yeah, it's a good one for sure. I'm interested to see how they're gonna like tie it in vibe wise.
Yeah. But anyway, that is it for the nerd news today. We kept it short, kept it sweet, we kept it to the point. To your point, Husky. I'm looking at you. Anyway, on to Black Widow, our review. So if you haven't seen Black Widow yet, here is your spoiler alert. Turn away now. Go back to Budapest. Because we got spoilers. Pest. It's Budapest.
Budapest.
It's
I'm not arguing with you.
Anyway, speaking of Budapest, we do get a little bit of a glimpse in this movie as to the whole Budapest thing.
I do like they finally brought a conclusion to that.
I would say it left me wanting more.
Well, I mean, okay, so you couldn't do too much with the whole Budapest thing without it derailing from being the main story. The film would have gone on too long. It was already a little over 2 hours. I think the film would have gone a little too long if you had more backstory. Plus, you would have had to bring in Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye, which they couldn't do because he's tied up doing the Hawkeye TV show. Which I feel like, if my theories are right with everything, I feel like they're gonna go into Hawkeye's side of things in that TV show.
That's what I've thought as well. But let's backtrack before we get too off track. Real quick. So just a quick summary. Basically, the whole movie takes place. It starts off right after Civil War, where Natasha is on the run from Thaddeus Ross because she defected to Team Cap, and so there's this little exchange there. Come to find out, she gave him the slip. They're over thinking that she's at this compound or whatever. She's actually on a boat to Norway. So haha, suckers. So she's
bamboozled.
Yeah, so she's basically just going off the grid, and come to find out, she got a sister. She has a sister, and her sister is seen wearing Black Widow attire.
Yes, she
is a part of the Widows, and she's on a mission. She gets hit with this antidote. So right out the gate, it is known that now the Widows are subjected to some form of chemical brainwash, and this antidote freed her. But unfortunately, she killed the person that had the antidote, and now she's trying to figure out what to do with it. She ends up sending it to Natasha, which kickstarts Natasha's search for her long lost, quote unquote, family. Yes, this is a family movie. And by family, I mean, like every other typical American family. You have a fake father, fake mother, fake sister that were all appointed to each other by a angry Russian guy.
Roll the Full House theme song with Russian accent.
You look, everywhere. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's worth
oh God. It's worth mentioning before we go too far that her sister, if you're a follower of the comics, is none other than Yelena Belova, who is a well-known carrier of the Black Widow mantle, but for the Dark Avengers.
Yep.
So it's worth mentioning now, because that will come up more later as well.
Yeah, so her family consists of Yelena Belova, which is another Black Widow in the comics, and I'm gonna butcher this. Is it Alexei Shostakov? Is it Shostakov?
Alexei Shostakov.
Okay, so it's Alexei Shostakov, who is the Red Guardian, Russian's answer to Captain America, and then Melina Shostakov, right?
Well, they don't actually give her a last name.
Okay,
she's just Melina.
I thought she was Melina Shostakov in the comic books.
I think they changed it a little bit because when they introduced Melina, she is Red Guardian's fake wife. So the whole undercover plot that they did where they were stealing tech from the United States, that was an actual comic book plot. So when they introduce her, she's known as Melina Shostakov because she's posing as Red Guardian's wife. Now I don't know if in the comics they actually end up getting married because Alexei is in love with Melina. Like whether their relationship was fake or not, he loves her to death. So that's a possibility that it could play out.
The weird thing though is, so from my research in the comic books, Alexei Shostakov was actually originally Natasha Romanov's husband.
Yeah, so there are a lot of people
that would explain why she was calling him daddy.
Ew. That might have been a little too far, even for us. Because in the comic,
that's the end of Comic Relief.
Yeah, Comic Relief is canceled. Today's the last episode. Hope you enjoyed it. You can catch me over on Cursed Tapes on the same network. Maybe I might defect and be on my own from now on.
Oh no.
But no. So in the comics, Natasha Romanoff has a lot of relationships with a lot of different characters. Red Guardian being one of them.
Daredevil.
They were very Daredevil, Doctor Doom, Taskmaster. Oddly enough.
That'd be a weird one. If they adopted We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. And the other big one was Clint Barton.
Yep.
So they kind of conveniently leave out Natasha's romantic interest because the only one they've actually explored was her with Bruce Banner, and they kept it very minimal because I don't think they want that to be a focus in her character because her lingering ass shots are already so much of a focus of her character.
So that's actually one thing I wanted to point out about this movie too. Like within the first like 20, 30 minutes, I literally looked over at Jackie and I was like, have you noticed how many ass shots there have been so far? She's like, and she immediately was like, yeah, you're right. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, you'd think after this many you'd think after this many times of people complaining that's like a major complaint about Black Widow in the movies is her over-sexualization. That finally giving her to a female director, those kind of things would kind of fizzle out, but they didn't. And I don't know if that was like a production decision from the studio that was like, no, we need to keep this because this is her last movie. We should just finish it out the way we started it, blah, blah, blah. Or
her
if it was
last
just like,
movie.
Do not get me started, sir.
Continue.
But anyway, let's get back to the plot before we get too far off track.
You're right.
Natasha is hunting down her family. She finds Yelena in Budapest at the safe house where she was really fine. She fights her sister, blah blah blah. Then they decide, well, we can't do this on our own, so they go and they break Alexei out of prison. Blah blah blah. Prison fight scene. They get him out. Then they figure out that the Red Room is still active, where the widows are made. So Natasha thought that when her and Clint were originally in Budapest, they had killed Dreykov, who ran the Red Room, and took it down. Well, apparently Dreykov is not dead, and the Red Room is still active. So they're trying to find it so they can free the widows and stop and take down the Red Room. So speeding kind of through this a little bit so that we can get to our theories and whatnot. They find Alexei. They think he knows where the Red Room is. He doesn't. He says Melina will. They go find Melina. Turns out Melina's still working for Dreykov as his architect. She helps develop like the mind control things, which she demonstrates on a pig. That part made me upset.
Yeah, I was actually like thoroughly like concerned. Like obviously you could tell that the pig was CGI.
Well, yeah.
But at the same time,
it was like one of those deals where I'm like, okay, let the pig breathe. Let the pig breathe, man.
Like she's like going on like all this like technical jargon. I'm like, yo, wake up the pig. Get the Let him breathe. Let him breathe. Hello.
And then she's just like, oh, he could have gone 11 more seconds without oxygen. What the hell?
I was like, what the fuck?
Okay, gotta get close there, Melina.
Yeah.
Sadistic bitch.
No wonder Alexei loves her.
Yeah. I mean, Rachel Wise, huh?
The mummy always returns.
The mummy always returns. It'll always rise again, if you will. Anyways,
I think this is the most I've hit the button on any episode actually.
Yeah, probably. So anyway, they meet up with Melina. She explains how the whole mind control thing works. She basically turns on them. The Red Room comes and takes everybody up to this floating city in the sky, which I call Sky Mall. And
very James Bondish too.
Very James Bondish. It reminded me of like a combination of Sky Mall and Cloud City from Star Wars.
Yep.
So then the whole plot of the movie basically ensues there. Turns out that it was Melina and Natasha's plan that they would switch, so Natasha could get close to Dreykov. So they go at it. There's a lot of little details there. We forgot to mention that Taskmaster's actually a big part of this film, but actually not.
Yeah, so that's actually my biggest gripe with this movie.
I have a theory about that'll kind of blow it out of the way.
Okay.
When we get there. So technically Dreykov has sent Taskmaster to hunt Natasha, but actually not Natasha. They want the
antidote.
The antidote. So Taskmaster's been after all of them throughout most of the movie. So now it's basically Natasha facing off against Dreykov and Taskmaster. Melina is trying to land the Red Room on the ground so that Ross can come and get them all. Red Guardian is trying to break out. Yelena Belova's trying to break out. and survive. They're trying to find the widows, get them out of mind control, and free them all. Big fight ensues. Red Guardian faces off against Taskmaster, which is a pretty great fight, not gonna lie to you. I was very impressed with David Harbour as Red Guardian, and I want to see him in more stuff.
Oh, absolutely. He's even pitched. Even already pitched 2 ideas of how to continue on with Red Guardian, either back in his heyday or continuing on with what we see in the post-credits scene when we get there.
The best one would be Serpent Society.
That would be
the greatest one. Yeah, seeing Serpent Society on screen would be amazing. But anyway, so it turns out like the biggest plot point here is the reason why Natasha can't kill Dreykov is because he has a pheromone that all widows from like the beginning of existence are programmed to not commit violence towards him if they smell it. So Natasha just kind of breaks her fucking nose on the table so she can't smell him and then beats
straight up Hereditary style, just like
Yeah. I was like, is this an Ari Aster film? Damn. Head trauma. The big reveal here that was kind of a letdown, but I kind of like overthought it and kind of made a way to justify it for myself is they revealed that Taskmaster is actually Dreykov's daughter, whom we thought Natasha had killed when they blew up the original Red Room. So that was kind of a letdown at that point, but I'll get to my theories on Taskmaster in a little bit here. I mean, big plot, no real spoilers. The widows get freed from mind control. Everybody goes their own separate ways.
Taskmaster gets freed from mind control.
Yeah, Taskmaster gets freed from mind control. Yelena goes her separate ways. Alexei and Melina go their separate ways, and Natasha goes on the run again from Ross. We find out that her underground contact for weapons and vehicles is the one that got her the decommissioned Quinjet, which you see her arrive in Infinity War. So that basically bridges the gap between Civil War and Infinity War of what Natasha was doing.
Yep.
And now you want to go ahead and break down the most important takeaway from this movie is the post-credit scene.
Absolutely.
And the fact that Florence Pugh is a total badass, and I love her.
I absolutely love her in this movie, especially when she makes fun of Natasha's superhero landing.
Oh yeah, you're a poser. The hair flip thing, it's gross. And then she does it herself. And she's like, "Oh, that was disgusting."
I loved it.
She was a total icon the entire movie. She was great. She was the star of the movie for sure.
Yeah. So post-credits scene, we are met with Yelena post Endgame. And she is visiting the gravesite of Natasha, who, spoiler alert again, if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame, wow.
What are you doing?
Wow.
Wow. Indeed.
But, yeah, so she goes to see the grave, and they have this, like, signature whistle that they do ever since they were kids that they showed early on in the kind of, like, prequel-ish portion of the movie. Yep. And there's no whistle to be heard back. She dead. She big dead. And next thing you know, you hear someone blowing their nose. So I guess there's someone else that misses Natasha. No, wait, no, never mind. It's Valentina from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, suffering Midwestern allergies.
Allergic to the Midwest. Dear God.
And there's a little exchange between her and Yelena, and what I found interesting was she mentions.
It's the thing that a lot of people are mistaking in this interaction. Everyone's like, "Oh, Valentina is here to recruit Yelena." No, their exchange shows that Yelena has been working for Valentina for some time now.
Yeah, because she mentions to Valentina, she wants a raise.
Yep, and you're not supposed to be bothering me on my holiday time.
Yeah, and not only that, but the fact that Yelena addresses her as Valentina straight off the bat, and if we remember from her interaction or her entrance in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, when she explains her name, she explains like sometimes Val, but don't call me that. You can call me Valentina, but don't call me that. Like, so basically, she's expecting him to call her by her full name, which I'm never gonna fucking do because I can never fucking remember it.
No, I just remember
Valentina Contessa de Fontaine.
De Fontaine.
Yeah, Yeah, it took me forever to remember Esteban Julio Ricardo Montoya del Rosa Ramirez, so I'm not gonna fucking try and remember Valentina's.
I'm impressed that you remember that. Shit.
Any Sweet Life of Zack and Cody fans out there? But yeah, no. So there's an exchange there, and come to find out, Valentina knows a little bit about Natasha's death. So she is
Mm-hmm.
aware of the fact that the last person to see Natasha alive was Clint Barton.
Mm-hmm.
And so by that, she surmises that, hey, do you want to get the person responsible for Natasha's death? And basically puts a hit out on Clint Barton. This is where the theories start churning up.
Before we get into the theories, I want to note this was originally intended to be Valentina's first appearance in the MCU because this movie was supposed to come out May of last year,
Yep.
which would have been before Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So this was
Which
supposed to
in-
be our first look at Valentina because they were basically showing her as an existing entity, and then now she's going on to recruit more people, where she recruits John Walker.
Yeah. I will say this. I think it was better. It maybe because Falcon and the Winter Soldier also had a lot of reshoots and rewrites during the pandemic. However,
Yep.
I will say whether or not it was planned or not, I think that her introduction in Falcon and Winter Soldier worked a lot better.
I agree.
For this because
I agree. It definitely feels like this is supposed to be her second appearance, but it was intended as her first. So I'm kind of glad that things got moved around a little bit because it has a bigger impact seeing her there now.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a little bit more. I don't know. So seeing the way she was approached in Black Widow versus Falcon and the Winter Soldier. In Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you have like the ominous footsteps of her heels, and then like the slow pan up, and then you're like, oh my god, it's Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Oh my god, we're
Yeah.
Seinfeld,
Yeah.
But then
Bring out the
with this
slap
one,
face.
yeah, with this one, it was just, oh my allergies, like
Yeah.
that. I don't feel like that would have hit as hard. I mean, it still would have been
No,
like, yo,
probably
we're
not.
Seinfeld, like
Yeah, true. Facts. I would have had the same reaction. I'd be like, who the hell is this?
yeah. But I will say this, based on both interactions, I feel like they are combining, and this goes along with like a previous theory that was confirmed with Loki that we had, where Sylvie was a combination of two characters. I think Valentina is going to be a combination of two characters as well. Valentina from the comic books, but also Victoria Hand, which technically we've already seen in Agents of Shield, but we all know that Agents of Shield became
Not
a dumpster
canon.
fire and non-canon, especially with the resurgence of Secretary Thaddeus Ross.
Who,
I-
might I add, looks very sick in this film.
I think he's been testing some stuff. What do you think?
I think they're like subtly trying to follow his comic storyline and in. Okay, so here's my theory. I'm gonna lay out what I think the little bits of this movie set ahead for us, because this wasn't a movie about Natasha Romanoff. This was a movie about Yelena Belova.
Yep. 100%.
Straight up. This was about her introducing her character, who she is, how she operates, etc. What her motivation is. Her motivation is now like her family was everything. That was the best part of her life, and now her sister's dead. Valentina has aimed her at Clint Barton. Florence Pugh has confirmed that she is in the Hawkeye series.
Yep.
So she is returning as Yelena Belova in the Hawkeye series. We've already speculated that Valentina is building a team. It's all but confirmed now with all these different characters resurfacing that they're doing the Thunderbolts or the Dark Avengers. So my theory is as such. We already have Yelena Belova, which is their version of Black Widow. We have US Agent, which is their Captain America. Ross has been looking sicker and sicker from film to film. So I'm thinking that in the events of She-Hulk is when he's going to end up taking the serum and becoming Red Hulk. We now have Taskmaster, introduced. Ghost, give me a second. Ghost has already been introduced.
Yep.
And who else am I missing?
I'm thinking
Justin
also.
Hammer.
Yep.
Justin Hammer is rumored to be coming back in Armor Wars.
I'm also thinking potentially if I think they might set it up in a way that, like, let's say, like, contractually speaking, if things don't work out with William Hurt, even though they are definitely building him up for something, but
Yeah.
they could easily it's at that point where they could easily just have him be like still Secretary Ross, like just
Right.
doing
Yeah,
his
they
Secretary
could.
Ross things, but then that powerhouse slot would be filled by Abomination.
Well, Abomination is already part of the Dark Avengers, so it's supposed to be the Dark Avengers, which then transitions into the Thunderbolts. So Abomination's been confirmed to still be alive because of the Shang-Chi trailer. We don't know if that's like a flashback or if that's one of those deals where it's like, let's introduce Abomination to show that these Gamma super soldiers are still a thing to lead into Red Hulk. They can't introduce a Thunderbolts movie without basically giving away that Red Hulk is definitely coming. So I'm thinking if they're going to announce Thunderbolts, it's going to be after She-Hulk is done. So backtracking a little bit to complete my theory, I don't think, and here's where you're going to kind of go like, what? I don't think they wasted Taskmaster in this movie. The way they presented Taskmaster, and they explained it very specifically. So Dreykov's daughter, Antonia, was caught in the explosion that was supposed to kill him.
Right.
In order to save her life, he put a chip in the back of her head.
Right.
Gave her the helmet, which scans footage. The chip allows her to retain those moves and mimic what happens. All of the tech is there for Taskmaster. My thought is, and also they made it a very big point that Natasha copied all of the data that was on Dreykov's computer. My thought is that they were introducing Taskmaster subtly here, but we're still going to get a real Taskmaster with that same tech that is now adapted with a mutant that has the ability to mimic moves, aka former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Anthony Masters, who hasn't been introduced yet. So we still have the potential to get the real Taskmaster. But this movie kind of set up the possibility that it's actually... Because okay, so my whole justification for this is the fact that Marvel Cinematic Universe has been avoiding mutants and mutation a lot.
Yeah.
So they had been trying to find ways, because remember, Black Widow was written and made before the announcement of the mutants.
Correct.
Before the rights to the X-Men got brought in. So that whole idea wasn't a possibility. And if they've been trying to set up the Thunderbolts of the Dark Avengers, they need Taskmaster. Like, it's a necessity, almost.
Right.
So they were trying to find a way to introduce the Taskmaster protocol and Taskmaster as a character into the MCU logically. And this is probably the only way that I could make sense that they would do this.
So I can understand that, but I will say ultimately it feels like, and I hate to call back Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but like the very first episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you see Kobe Smulders as Maria Hill speaking with Agent Pretty Boy that ended up being bad, and asks him, what does S.H.I.E.L.D. stand for? He says, the Strategic Homeland Enforcement Intervention Logistics Division or something like that. Was it I before E, except after C?
I before
Whatever.
E. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
Spelling.
Intervention Enforcement and Logistics Division. And she asked, what does that mean to you? And he says, it sounds like someone really wanted to spell out S.H.I.E.L.D. So in that kind of mindset, I feel like their main goal was to use Taskmaster as a ploy to get more people interested in the movie, because Taskmaster is a very, like, in the comics, I love Taskmaster. He's an amazing character. But then after the fact, they're like, okay, so how can we make this fit the narrative for this movie and then potentially save ourselves so that we can maybe bring this character back in a different way later on, based on your theory. So, in a sense, yes, they could still make it work. They could still give us the Taskmaster that we know and love, in a way. But at the same time, I feel like they could have easily made this movie without Taskmaster. 110%.
They 100% could have.
I think they could have leaned more into, and even if they wanted to do a gender swapped Taskmaster in this sense, instead of giving her or Antonia a chip in her brain or something like that, and relying on tech and stuff like that, which I think is also potentially stolen Stark tech, because it's the same kind of technology used in Civil War against Captain America. I would say it would have been a better narrative if Antonia was just absolutely enraged with what happened, so she just divulged into just hours and hours and years of training to gain the ability to mimic other fighters, and spent years of studying the Avengers and their fighting techniques and stuff like that. I feel like that would have been better storytelling.
Yeah, but even then, like, looking back at Taskmaster in the comics, he doesn't even have that cool of an origin story. He's literally just has photographic reflexes that allows him to mimic any fighting style. And he doesn't have short-term memory, so he commonly forgets what he's doing. Like, he was literally a joke throwaway character that ended up becoming super badass when they brought him back into Agency X and the Secret Avengers and Thunderbolts, all that stuff. So he's literally just a master assassin. He's an expert swordsman. He has voice mimicry, the photographic reflexes. He's literally just a regular dude that can remember a lot of shit.
Yeah. I was even thinking, like, further on that, like, maybe the blast from the explosion gave Antonia like a sort of like kind of like in how like Kick-Ass, when he got hit by that car and all his nerve endings were like, and he wasn't able to feel pain. Like in this case, like it gave her the ability to have a photographic reflexes and stuff like that.
Right.
And,
but so Dreykov does explain that it's not the chip that allows her to do that. It's the fact that the chip keeps her alive. But because of the combination of how she is and how she stays alive, she's able to mimic. So the photographic reflexes thing is still consistent here. He does explain that it's not the tech, it's not the helmet, it's not the chip that drives her. It's her memory. And it's how she is. And like the reason she was mute the entire time, she doesn't talk, anything like that, is because she's under Dreykov's mind control. So I think this was kind of just a way. Yes, I think it was a small ploy to get people interested in the movie, but I don't think that was their main goal. I think it was just, okay, we're doing Taskmaster in a way that makes sense. Here it is. She's out of mind control. Now she's a free agent. Now she can do whatever she wants. Because you gotta remember, she was under Dreykov's control the entire movie. She had to do exactly what he said when he said it. She couldn't hurt him. And her last line in the movie is he gone? Like in her normal voice, not like some robotic, weird, like stare down kind of thing. Like she wasn't looking like Frankenstein's monster at the end of the film.
Yeah.
She was her regular person. She was able to just do her. Yeah. So I'm thinking this is their way of introducing Taskmaster as a character. Yes, it's gender swapped. Yes, people are gonna be mad. But I'd say
I'm personally just more mad at the fact that ultimately, and like I can agree and disagree with you all day long on this, but at the end of the day, I'm still gonna feel like they did poorly on introducing Taskmaster in this sense. If they were to bring it back with your theory, that would be pretty cool to see. But still, ultimately, like the character, like kind of like because it's almost on par with the Mandarin, Ben Kingsley's the Mandarin, right? And then everyone wasn't really happy with the reveal, and then now we have Shang-Chi coming out, and boom, we had the real Mandarin. So I feel like it's almost going to be like a similar deal if and when they come out with a new Taskmaster. That's just how I feel about it.
I mean, even if they keep the same Taskmaster, I'm still looking forward to seeing what they're going to do, because I think they have a lot of potential with what they can do from here. Because I mean, the whole reason she became obsessed with, like, well, not even obsessed. The whole reason she was studying the Avengers fighting styles was because Dreykov told her to.
Yeah.
And now there's no Dreykov, and now she has all this training. She has all these memories of how to fight like the Avengers, how to beat the Avengers. Like, where does she go from here? She has infinite possibilities of what she can go and do at this point, and she has the tech to support her to do it.
Yeah.
Aside from the shield, because Red Guardian stole the shield.
True. Well, he also lost it.
Yeah, but you know.
Also, speaking of Red Guardian, I want to get your theory on his Captain America story in prison.
So
because I have my theory.
What's your theory?
So my theory is that yes, he fought Captain America. I think he truly did fight Captain America, not the Captain America that we know, based on his age, based on what he could have been doing for the Russian government. I think I mean, I haven't looked too much into it, but just off the top of my head, I think he could have been fighting Isaiah Bradley.
Well, yeah, because he never actually says Steve Rogers.
Exactly, he says Captain America. Exactly. So I think that could be a potential really cool prequel movie, or even like a series or something. Probably more movie, but I think that would be really cool to see. Especially since after Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we mentioned that we want to see more of Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah, bring Red Guardian in on season 2 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They've already said they're probably going to do a season 2.
Exactly.
Bring that in, explore the history of the second Captain America for a little bit. And I mean, they said if they do a second season, it's going to be after Captain America 4.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, at that point, Captain America 4 can build off of some of our other theories.
Yeah.
Torres can become Falcon, and then it becomes Torres and Sebastian Stan as the Winter Soldier. Bring in Red Guardian, and then start introducing the Serpent Society.
That would be sick. That would be really sick.
Yeah, because Serpent Society would be great for a series. Like, give us like a season, 1 to 2 seasons on them. Hell yeah, all for it.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
So I think this movie kind of was meant, again, it was meant to give Black Widow, it was giving Natasha Romanoff an exit movie, basically. This was like her last hurrah. She was the star of the show, not just a side character. She wasn't just a sacrifice on the pits of Vormir. It introduced us to Yelena Belova. It introduced us more to what Dreykov was doing, and now there's a bunch of widows out there doing their own thing because they're all free from mind control. It fleshes out the Dark Avengers a little bit more. It introduced us to Taskmaster. It was trying to introduce a bunch of different little things that could only be introduced in one of like 3 other ways. Because the only realistic other places they could introduce Taskmaster would be in Ant-Man, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, another Captain America, or Spider-Man.
Yep.
Or just wait and bring Taskmaster as like the last introduced character for the Thunderbolts or the Dark Avengers or whatever they're going to do.
Yeah.
That would be the only logical ways to do it. And if this is the way they did it and it was kind of sloppy, then, I mean, whatever. Sure. We've had worse. Like you said, the Mandarin.
Yeah.
The original appearance of the Mandarin was just ungodly awful. Like Iron Man 3 was just such a letdown because of all of that. Like the whole
Who did that one? That was Shane Black, right?
Yes.
God damn it, Shane.
Yeah. So
I will say
itself just shows that it can get worse with characters. I don't think they handled Taskmaster that poorly. I think they made it fit their narrative. It fit their storyline very well. It gave a nice big callback to the first Avengers film. Yep. When Natasha's talking with Loki and Loki's like, yeah, all these things you did, your ledger's gushing red with blood. Budapest, Dreykov's daughter, all that stuff. And like, he starts mentioning these things that like never get played out. We're like, who the hell is Dreykov? Yeah. And we finally get an answer like, okay, Dreykov is the leader of the Red Room. His daughter was killed by her and Hawkeye. Now she's Taskmaster, and that kind of whole story came full circle, which is what I liked about it. So
Yeah.
I'm part of the minority that enjoyed what they did. Do I wish they did Tony Masters and made him like this dark, sinister revenant type deal? Absolutely. Am I still
Hmm.
hoping they will do it? Absolutely. If they continue with this, will I be upset? No, not really.
Yeah.
Because we've had worse.
Ultimately, I agree with you in the fact that it was enjoyable. The
Mhm.
action was good when it was good. Like it shows that it could play on par with the likes of Mission Impossible as far as action and
Mhm.
adventure.
Yep.
I really
Agreed.
dig that. I also like the callback to that conversation with Loki because like for the longest time, I thought when he said Dracov's daughter, he was talking about her, and her
Mhm.
father's name was Dracov, and then come end game you find out she's the daughter of Ivan, whoever the fuck
Yep.
Ivan is, um,
Ivan Drago.
and really.
No, that was a Rocky reference. That was a throwaway name.
Oh, I was like, wait a minute, what? That I
Ivan
recognized the
Drago.
name
I
for a
must
hot
beg
for a hot
you.
second. Yeah, I recognized the name and it didn't register in my brain until now. But yeah, no. So
Yeah.
one thing I thought was kind of interesting though was like, in a sense, if you think about it, Natasha was technically also Dracov's daughter. So it can be
Yeah.
interpreted that way. Like I was like
Could be.
thinking about it like it could be interpreted that because she was a widow and like all the widows were
It's
basically
a
like seen as
potential. It's a potential thing. Yeah, I could see it.
yeah. But yeah, no, I thought it was nice to have a few callbacks to that, and it was nice to have some allusion to the future.
Mhm.
However, ultimately, even though I enjoyed the movie, I feel like a lot of the tie-ins and a lot of the other stuff that kind of lead into the future of the MCU could have
Mhm.
been done with like a short movie or like maybe like one of their one shots that they used to do.
I think that would be underselling it. At this point in the game, Marvel can get away with doing a full movie just with. I mean, Marvel could get away with doing a full movie with just Easter eggs that set up future stuff,
Yeah.
and we would eat it up. We would pay the money to go see it. Like it's just what we do,
Yeah,
and they,
that's
and they
true.
know that. So like, even if it is kind of haphazard and thrown together, I still think they presented us with a good story, a good final
Hmm.
film for Scarlett Johansson to star in, a good introduction of Florence Pugh and David Harbour into the MCU. I think that's what I'm most hyped about this movie is the introduction of some of the new characters.
Hmm.
Like being able to bring Florence Pugh in such a great role in a
Hmm.
well-written story, and her character wasn't wasted or thrown to the side. She had enough humor that made her funny but not cast off as the comedian. Like
Hmm.
um she's not just a side character. Like you could tell that they were shifting focus. Like this is Black Widow.
She's not
Here's
just comic
Natasha
relief.
Romanoff. I was trying to avoid saying it. What they were, I feel like
Let
what
me
they were
press my
trying to do.
button, man.
God damn it. Ugh. So you have Natasha Romanoff as the focus for a lot of it. She's been like a focal point of the Avengers and the MCU since Iron Man 2 when she was introduced.
Hmm.
She's now making her exit because she's dead,
She did.
and they want to introduce this other character that's also a Russian spy, and they have a great actress doing it. So you could see as the movie went on, like
And she actually has a Russian
Natasha
accent.
was, yes, Natasha was in the forefront, and Yelena was kind of like just behind her. And you could see as the movie went on, they wanted to bring more focus to Yelena, and we know
Hmm.
that this is going to be the focus from now on. Like this is who we're looking at. This is our new Widow.
Yeah.
And I like the way they did that. It was subtle, it was nice, it was well written. They introduced a couple other characters with a couple fun Easter eggs. I mean, introducing Red Guardian and then having having her call him Red Dynamo was like a nice fun
Yeah,
Easter egg.
Crimson
A
Dynamo.
Crimson Dynamo, yeah.
Yeah,
He's like,
that
it's
was
Red
funny.
Guardian.
Yeah, I thought that
So
one was pretty funny.
I don't know. I honestly, it's not the best movie in the series. It's not the best solo film in the series, but it's definitely not the worst.
Yeah.
I think there are at least a solid 4 or 5 films that are worse than Black Widow.
Yeah, I would say this is probably like if we were comparing it to like the Infinity Saga, this is
Mhm.
probably like for me in like the Iron Man 2 Thor the Dark World kind of realm for me.
I
Like
put it a little higher than that. I put it around the Ant-Man origin story level for me.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and that's very middle of the road for me because I mean, like, bottom of my list is Iron Man 3. Just above that is Thor: The Dark World. Ant-Man and the Wasp is just above that, and then it goes up from there.
Okay.
Because I mean, there aren't really very many bad MCU movies. The two big flops for me were Iron Man 3 and Thor 2.
Yeah. And
Those are the
if
two
all
biggest
things
flops
are
in the
considered,
MCU.
the movie overall, because we technically you could still consider The Incredible Hulk. The movie as a whole didn't flop for me, but it was the idea that the Hulk was tied to his heart rate. That's what fucking pissed me off.
Oh yeah, honestly, I still enjoy the Incredible Hulk. It's if we're counting that as part of the MCU, then I'm still counting that as middle of the road. It's still better than Thor 2.
Yeah, no, I would agree that it's better than Thor 2. It's just that whole idea behind heart rate being the thing and not actually just anger.
Yeah.
Like it almost felt like they were trying to keep it grounded to a certain degree.
Well, they were trying to trigger it to adrenaline, which is how World Breaker Hulk is introduced as an increase in adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
Because eventually, when he learns how to control it, it's not anger. It's just his adrenaline.
Okay.
The whole "don't make Hulk angry" thing came from the TV show. It's not actually comic accurate.
Oh.
It's an adrenaline thing. So adrenaline increased heart rate increases the production of adrenaline, which increases the amount of gamma in his bloodstream, which turns him into the Hulk. And
I really wish I had a button for the like the floating equations thing as you're as you're saying that.
Well, yeah. But so adrenaline is most present when we're angry. So the whole "don't make the Hulk angry" kind of thing is accurate, but it was fantasized with the old Lou Ferrigno TV show, where it's like he gets angry, and when he's angry, he has a huge spike in adrenaline, which makes it so he can't control himself, which is where the whole idea of making him angry came in. And the comics eventually explain, and it's explained actually by Maestro, which is like old Hulk.
Yeah.
That it's not anger, it's an increase in adrenaline, which triggers the transformation into the Hulk from Banner.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see. There you go. There you have it. It's middle of the road for you, a little bit low ball for me, but overall still enjoyable.
Yes.
We can both agree on that.
It has some rewatch value. Not like top of my list, but definitely some rewatch value.
Yeah, I was thinking about actually rewatching it maybe sometime this weekend too, just to see if there's anything that I missed. But yeah, so there you have it. That is the Black Widow review by Comic Relief, the one and only Comic Relief.
All right, we want to hop into the Loki episode 5 real quick.
Yes, sir. We're gonna run right through this Loki episode 5. So you've heard about it, you've seen about it, you've probably watched it yourself by now. If you haven't, again, like I said with Endgame, why?
What are you doing?
But yeah, so basically it picks up right after the post credits or mid credits scene of Loki episode 4, where he wakes up in what is now known as the Void, which is a space just before the end of time.
Or my Discord server.
True. Yeah, it's called the Void. I was like, wait. Are you saying your Discord server's empty? I see a lot of pings.
Nope, it's literally called the Void.
I completely forgot about it. I just looked for the colors. But anyway, so we pick up in the Void, and he is met by classic Loki, Kid Loki, boastful Loki, and Gator Loki, or as Jagger likes to call him, Florida Loki, or as I like to call him, Port Saint Loki.
Is actually so they actually in the promotional items they just call him Croaky.
That's no
because gators don't croak.
Well, are they? No, are they trying to go off the fact that they're trying to call him a crocodile?
Probably, but he's a gator.
Crocodiles have pointed snouts.
Not all of them.
Man, I lived in Florida. Come on.
I don't want to go through. I don't want to go through the science of alligators and crocodiles and be here all night.
Anyway, so we're met by them, and they explain to Loki that he is in the Void, and there's a big dark cloud known as Alioth. Kang reference. coming after him and going to destroy everything in its path. So he follows them, and he's like trying to get answers. Basically, we find out that Kid Loki killed Thor apparently somehow. I have a theory on that. And basically, it's a lot of this Loki getting to know these other Lokis and realizing that when you get pruned, you're actually sent to the void because, like the law of the conservation of energy, you
Alchemy.
can't. Huh?
It's alchemy, equivalent exchange.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
See, I don't know alchemy. I
You
just know
can't get
basic
rid of
science.
matter when you prune it. It has to go somewhere. You can't get rid
Exactly.
of it.
There you go. I got straight C's. But anyway.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, there you go. So basically, based on that, the theory of the law of conservation of energy, alchemy, what you said, basically they can't necessarily just obliterate these things. So anytime something gets pruned, it gets sent to the void. And
Which
yeah,
gives us a lot of Easter eggs.
yeah, there's a lot of Easter eggs. I kind of want to just run through the Easter eggs right before, because like basically in a nutshell, this whole episode is very expositional, explaining the pruning, explaining these different Lokis. Also, by the way, Owen Wilson ain't dead. He was just pruned and sent to the void as well.
Yes.
I think the biggest point to make before we get into a lot of Easter eggs is the fact that meanwhile in the TVA, Sylvie is having a conversation with Ravonna, and basically finds out that when you get pruned, you get sent to this void. So Sylvie prunes herself, and in hopes to, further save Loki and whatnot, and do things and destroy the creator of the TVA.
Yes.
In doing so, she's running away from Alioth, and she enchants Alioth mistakenly,
Momentarily.
accidentally.
Yeah, it was like an accident. It was like an accidental enchantment, like a drive-by enchantment. She figures out she can do it.
Yeah, and she sees a vision of a castle on a hill. Someone call Ed Sheeran. Yeah, basically there's a castle on this, it was basically a castle. It's like a medieval castle on this rock at the edge of time. And so she devises a plan that she needs to enchant this thing to figure things out. Meanwhile, Loki's doing his whole expositional thing. We get some fun stories from the other Lokis. And then Loki devises a plan. I'm going to kill Alioth. They all laugh at him. He tries to escape. And there's a whole army of Lokis led by
President Loki.
Yeah, led by President Loki. And so, come to find out, Boastful Loki actually sold them the location of this little hideout, because Boastful Loki is, like a typical Loki, just looking out for himself. And then he gets double-crossed, and then the President Loki gets double-crossed, and in very Loki fashion, they all turn on each other, except for Kid Loki, our Loki, and Classic Loki, and Gator Loki. Because I'm pretty sure Kid Loki picks up Gator Loki and escapes with him. Okay.
After Gator Loki bites off President Loki's hand.
Yeah, that I was not expecting. That was like hilarious. That was hilarious.
Gator Loki, MVP of the show.
Yeah. So after that, they end up meeting up with Sylvie and Mobius, and they talk about this plan. Sylvie calls Loki an idiot for thinking that he could kill Alioth. She says they need to enchant Alioth. More exposition. We get a little moment between Ravonna and B-15 that is important to note, that it is very obvious through this exchange that Ravonna isn't completely in the know. So she's trying to get answers as well.
She's trying to find out where she comes from as well.
Yeah. But basically we cut to basically the penultimate scene of the episode, where Alioth cometh, if you will, and they're struggling to enchant. Classic Loki goes out in a big way by conjuring an entire illusion of Asgard. It was amazing. It was amazing.
The only thing it was missing was I need a hero. in the background.
I actually saw that on TikTok.
Yeah.
I think Megan shared that with me.
Yeah. Because she sent it to me too. She's like, I've been spamming Xander with these TikToks about Loki.
Yeah, she's been killing me with the Loki memes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we get that, and he goes out. Eliath takes him out, or does he? There's a theory there.
There's a theory there.
But so classic Loki's taken out. That was a whole distraction so that Sylvie, with the help of our Loki learns the power of enchantment, and they both enchant Eliath at the very last end in a very typical fashion, because it's always build up. Oh my God, are they gonna live? Oh no, wait, the show's named after them. Of course he's gonna live. Even though I didn't even register in my mind when he first got pruned.
Yeah, right.
I mean, because Sylvie's a variant of Loki, so obviously,
as soon as he got pruned, I was just like, oh, so the show's about her, not him.
That's what I was thinking. But yeah, so they enchant Eliath, and then Eliath opens up and reveals that castle on the hill. I'm just gonna call it the castle on the hill from now on because it just fits.
That's fine.
And yeah, that's how it ends.
Yep.
Cut and dry. But the biggest part of this entire episode are the Easter eggs.
Yeah, they're fun. There's some fun Easter eggs.
So many Easter eggs.
My favorite being the Thanos copter.
Okay, so there we go, guys. We have the Thanos copter. That's your favorite? So we have a Thanos copter that is shown. We also have the head of a statue of the Living Tribunal, which was also mentioned in Doctor Strange. That was also really cool. We have another nod to Kang. So previously we had seen Avengers Tower destroyed in the background of all the other Lokis when they first approached our Loki in the mid-credits scene. But upon closer review, it says Kang on the side, which Kang Enterprises in the comics was owned by Nathaniel Richards, aka Kang the Conqueror. Just saying. And there's a lot.
I'm gonna debunk the hell out of your Kang theory tonight. By the way, I have that entirely prepared, just so you're aware.
I don't like that.
Prepare your butt.
Don't do that.
Prepare your butt.
Don't do that.
I spent this last week dissecting that episode and finding out ways to say that it's not Kang the Conqueror.
Even though in Kang's Chronopolis, he has the Great Pyramids of Giza and the Sphinx, and we both see those here in the Void. Eliath.
So some of the other Easter eggs we have Frog Thor.
Throg is actually my favorite. Which, by the way, it was announced that there was a scene that they had shot with Tom Hiddleston where Throg pummels Loki. And Chris Hemsworth actually came out to voice Throg.
Yeah, they cut it from the show.
And now we have hashtag release the Throg cut.
Jesus Christ. those hashtags are getting old quick.
It is. It is. But I would love to see Marvel do some sort of thing where they did with Baron Zemo and the dance, the club scene.
Oh yeah.
I would love to see them just release the Throg clip
That'd be nice.
on YouTube. That would be really cool. That'd be really cool.
That would be good. That'd be good on their part. Another Easter egg we have is a giant version of the Yellow Jacket helmet, which I think is a nod forward to Quantumania.
Yep, because I think we also talked about this on a previous episode where Evangeline Lilly actually shared an image for the next Ant-Man movie and tagged Corey Stoll in it. So yeah, I think we're gonna see Yellow Jacket again, guys.
Yeah, I think so too. Which is fine with me because Yellow Jacket was a good one.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, what was another Easter egg that I was just like, yo, no fucking way. Let's see. There was the Library of Alexandria. That was pretty cool. As a history buff, like I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. The ship The ship that
Oh,
they
yeah.
bring in the mid
The
in
USS
mid-scene
Enterprise,
is
yeah.
actually, yeah, it's an actual like an actual historical ship that was part of the Philadelphia Project, where they were claiming that America had the first ship that could disappear and it just vanished from the seas.
Yep.
So their explanation from it is it actually went to the void.
It got
So,
pruned.
Yeah, that's a fun little bit of history, and they've been doing that a lot in Loki, because they did it earlier with the guy that disappeared from the
DB
hijacked
Cooper.
plane, DB Cooper. I can never remember his name, and they explain that Loki is DB Cooper.
Yeah,
So
I
like,
love it.
I don't know, I like those little tidbits of fun.
Yeah, I love it. Watch the Zodiac Killer was actually just an Asgardian villain that was like banished to our realm. And then after they found out that he was running amok here, they just fucking brought him back.
God,
Imagine that.
imagine.
That would explain the glyphs, right?
Yeah, it would. It would explain that. So do you want to get into your theories now before I
Yes.
do mine?
So, Kang Gang. Hashtag Kang Gang. Kang Gang. Kang Gang.
Oh, you're not ready.
Time side. Kang Gang. We have Kang. Okay, we have Kang Enterprises. All right? We have Kang Enterprises. We have Eliath.
Which is actually a Fantastic Four reference, not a Kang reference.
But Nathaniel Richards is
Nathaniel Richards is to announce the Fantastic Four, not Kang. Trust me. Go on.
We have the Pyramids of Giza. We have the Sphinx, seen also in Chronopolis.
This is not Chronopolis.
Just like Sylvie being a combination of two things. This is a combination of some other fucking idea of theirs, the time before the end of time, and Chronopolis. And we have Eliath that is basically running amok in this void, which is full of Kang's... Kang Gang, man! Leave me alone!
I'm going to let you know right now. Marvel has been doing this all year long. Because you were also Team Mephisto.
I know. I knew you were going to say that.
And then let's move forward a little bit in time. You were Team Mandarin is the power broker. And then you were anti-Sharon as the power broker. Debunked. So hear me out here, okay? I'm gonna say this right now. You are half right, in my opinion. I went back and I rewatched all of Loki, and every part of the TVA and Miss Minutes and the Easter eggs we've gotten is pointing that this villain, this creator of the TVA, is actually Immortus, which is a variant version of Kang who didn't conquer the timelines and exists at the end of time to become the perfect all-knowing being. And the reason he created the TVA is to make sure that Kang the Conqueror never comes to be. All of the events that they prune, all of the extra timelines are to be kept under control so that Kang doesn't run amok and become the conqueror of the multiverse. He's creating this sacred timeline, which is the perfect timeline, which leads to him becoming Immortus every time. So if the sacred timeline stays intact, he always becomes Immortus. And he never becomes the Conqueror. Which, by the end of the show, I feel like Sylvie and Loki are going to do something stupid and basically make it so that Immortus will never exist. And then the multiverse will explode, giving us Doctor Strange 2, and then leading us into Kang the Conqueror.
I'll take that. Because it's still Kang, technically. It's still technically Kang.
It's not Kang, it's Immortus. He's different.
Whatever.
And he's going to be played by somebody different.
No. I think it's going to be played by the same guy that's going to play Kang.
I don't think so. I don't think
I
they
think
will.
so.
I think they'll make him they'll make him a legitimate variant, because this whole theme has been variants, and Marvel's main game has been to throw us off the scent. Like, the shows are not
still Kang.
So the shows are not introducing us to major character villains. They're introducing us to like miniature versions of those villains, because Immortus is never actually a villain. Immortus just makes sure that the timeline stays intact so that he can exist. Agatha
Well, see,
Harkness,
the reason why I think that they'll actually show like the actual actor, Jonathan Majors, is because back to where we were talking about Valentina. They're not afraid to introduce a character in a show first and then in a movie, because they introduced Valentina first, and she's going to be a major player later on.
yeah, but she's not a major player yet.
Still,
As soon as you introduce somebody as big as Kang, that's like teasing. That would be like introducing Thanos on an episode of Agents of Shield. If you're thinking of it,
see,
in,
I
in those
don't think
terms.
that. I don't think that, because Agents of Shield was never at this level. Because you have to think,
Okay.
these shows. This is like when WandaVision started and everything. We haven't had an actual MCU movie in 2 years. So of course, every single fucking Marvel fan out there, and even like just the bare bones like mainstream fans of the MCU, they're like, fuck yeah, I should probably get on this. So I don't think they're worried about introducing things in these series and then having the movies afterwards, and then people watching the movies are like, wait, why is this happening? Oh, did you not watch Loki, or did you not watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier? No, I didn't. Oh, okay, well that's why. I don't think they're worried about that anymore.
They are worried about that, because there are people that aren't going to pay for Disney Plus. I know a lot of like big Marvel fans that refuse to pay for Disney Plus because they don't want to pay that extra money just to see these shows that may or may not connect. So I mean, if you think about it, what have we seen so far? They've downplayed these villains for show level quality. Our villain of WandaVision was, all signs were pointing to Mephisto. They gave us everything that we needed for Mephisto to be the main villain. We had the Darkhold, we had Agatha Harkness, we had the multiverse, we had Wanda becoming a Nexus being. Everything was pointing that they were going to reveal Mephisto in the last episode. They didn't. Agatha Harkness just became the villain. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We had everything leading up to Flag Smasher becoming its own major villain. We had everything leading up to other stuff like exploding in that show, and the whole focus was Sam Wilson is to become Captain America. Downplayed. So now Sam Wilson goes on to his own movie. Wanda is now going into Doctor Strange 2 for the multiverse. That's where their big villains are going to be, is in the movies, where they have the bigger budget, they have the bigger screen time, they get the bigger reaction, because Marvel is all about their reaction. Kevin Feige even said it. He said they make every movie with the anticipation of the theater being packed and getting the same kind of reactions they did during the Endgame screening. That's how they make their movies. They're not going to take a big character like Kang the Conqueror of the multiverse, creator of the Conquest of Champions, and introduce him in a TV show on Disney Plus.
Well, no, I will agree with you. I will agree with you on the fact that it would be Immortus, a version of Kang, but I would argue that they would still get Jonathan Majors to play Immortus and do like some like basically like old man Steve Rogers kind of thing.
I don't think so. I don't think they're going to.
I
think they're going to save No, I think they'll save Jonathan Majors for his major role.
Even despite his likeness being in the sculpture of Ast and the little cartoon animation that they made.
I still don't think they're gonna. I mean, if they do,
because I think that would fit. I think that would fit because if Immortus is the creator of the TVA, and basically by that he would have had a hand in creating the cartoon that we saw in episode 1. He would have had a hand in the statues. The only thing is that the actual android itself did not look like Jonathan Majors at all, which I would venture to argue that probably when everyone started jumping on the Jonathan Majors train, that they had the power to do this. They probably had a team go in and digitally modify the look of Ast.
There's no way they could have done that.
They could have done it. They could have done
that. That would have cost them way too much money in visual effects. They have the power to do
Disney.
it. There's no way
they wipe their asses with $1 million.
You are out of your mind if you think they're gonna spend a special team in to tweak one little thing in one episode to lead people off the scent of it possibly being Jonathan Majors.
They went in and they changed the post-credit scene of WandaVision under our noses.
No, that scene was already made.
No, they digitally changed it with the addition of more trees in the background. And they removed, I think, what was it? They also removed these doves that were playing in a pond or whatever.
That's minor. You're talking about remodeling an entire character face.
Just the face. It's just the face.
No, they're not that dedicated to throwing people off the scent on a 6-episode series.
From a bare bones perspective, you look at it. All you have to do is move a couple of points around, and then render it out.
You're reaching hard.
I'm just saying. I really think that if your theory is true, Immortus will be played by Jonathan Majors, in maybe like a sort of old man Steve Rogers kind of vibe, and then that will allude to Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror because of, Sylvie and Loki stopping Immortus from what he's doing, and then opening up the multiverse, and then Kang the Conqueror is an actual threat in the future. I just want to see Jonathan Majors already, okay? I've watched Lovecraft Country like twice over, and I haven't seen him in anything else. I need to see Jonathan.
Is it that, or is it that you don't want to be 0 for 3 for Marvel shows? Or is it both?
I don't want to be wrong, man. I really don't.
It's okay. Xander, it's okay. It's okay. After Loki, we're gonna get the Spider-Man trailer eventually, and everything will be okay.
Well, it's already been confirmed. We're gonna get the Spider-Man trailer before December.
Yes. Well, duh. I'm just saying.
I hate this. Oh fuck.
I know. I'm guaranteeing it's gonna be like a week or two after Loki ends.
You know what?
That's my money. My money is on Immortus.
Well,
and I don't think it's as far as the if it is, I'll be surprised.
It's at the point going back on the Spider-Man trailer. It's at that point where you shock a dog enough times, they're gonna stop doing it. Yeah, I'll see the fucking Spider-Man trailer when I see it. But
and you'll still be super excited about it.
Absolutely. I'm probably going to hit you up and be like, dude, it's out. And you'll be like, I know, I've already fucking seen it. I'm like, but it's out.
Probably. You're probably right.
But, thank you though. Thank you. So in a nutshell, at the end of the day, hashtag still Kang. I hit the button again.
I'm gonna chalk that right up there with your Mephisto theory, with your Mandarin theory, with your we're getting the Spider-Man trailer before the 4th of July theory.
Anyway, thank you for joining us today, guys. Tune in this Thursday as we wrap up the season finale of Loki. If there are any topics you'd like to see us cover on this channel, please leave a suggestion in the comments down below. And if you enjoy what we're doing here and want to help support, please like, share, and subscribe, as the little animation does down below, because I just made that today, and I'm really proud of it. But yes, also both Jagger and I stream on Twitch ever so often. Jagger likes to do a pregame show. I like to do a post-game show. What I'm saying, game. Pre-show, post-show. That's what it is. I'm going to be doing a post-show tonight. I'm going to go ahead and start off with making the thumbnail for Thursday's episode real quick, and then I'm going to jump into some Apex, because I heard we got a new arenas map. I want to try that out. I'm excited for that. But yes, so our Twitch links will be in the description down below, as well as the Discord link that Jagger was so lovely to make. We needed it. We needed it. But yes, I hope you all have a great night, and stay nerdy, my friends. Bye-bye.
Bye.